Welcome back. This is supposed to be part 2, but we're going to call it part 1A because of a cock up that I've made. Nothing to do with the bike, more to do with me. And what my plan was today originally was to get out into the garage, start stripping the bike down and working from there. And in my head I was trying to work out, obviously taking it apart's not too much of an issue, but I wanted to try and get it so that when I got the frame done, the first things I want to put back onto it were going to be the swing arm, the forks, the wheels, so that I had a rolling chassis and you could move it around. The bit that I forgot was I wanted to run the bike, and since I've had it, which it came to me on Friday, today's now Sunday, I've not started the bike up yet. I've seen video of it running in Japan, but that's it. So I wanted to get that done. Then I suddenly realised I can't start it because I haven't got any bike boots, and because of my disability and my deformed feet, I can't start it in normal, or I class as normal shoes, because most of my shoes are just like slippers. So I did try, but it was just too painful, so it's not going to start yet. I've got a pair of boots on order. They're going to be here within the next couple of days, so I can start on them. In the meantime, my brain was kind of working overtime as to what I can do now, and I came up with a little bit of a brainwave. So the forks were kind of borderline on needing rechroming and regrinding, and I thought, well, I'm trying to do this on a budget. Do I really want to be spending £300-400 on that? If I don't have to, I'm going to try something out. And I've tried it on one of the forks and it appears to have worked. So bear with me, because I'm going to try and draw you what I did. And my drawing is crap, so you just have to bear with me, but I think it will help explain what I did and how my brain worked its way around it. So hang fire. Now this fork I haven't done anything to, and as you can see, most of the fork is in fairly good condition. There's just one or two, like really, I don't know if the camera will pick that up. There's a little tiny bit there, maybe just here, that with your nail. But I've not done anything to that one. Now this side I have done. This was the worst side, and you can see there are still some little marks there, but listen, there's hardly any noise. So what I've done is I've flattened them off, and that's not going to do any harm to anybody. And then I've polished it with some wire wool and some metal polish, and I've got the bulk of it out. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Let me show you on a piece of paper what I did. Okay, so this is my thinking. This is the surface of the fork, and that's how it should be. When a stone hits the surface, it kind of makes like a bit of a dip underneath, but it's not just it's not a dent. What it does is it actually pushes this material here and pushes it up onto there. So now you've kind of got that sort of effect. So my thinking was get a file and do that with it, file that side out. Now you've still got this piece here, but this piece, the hump, that is the piece that will act like a cheese grater on your fork seal as it slides up and down the fork. So what you'd end up with after you've knocked the top off is that sort of effect, which still isn't ideal, totally agree. And these edges here, for want of a better description, could be kind of sharp squares like that, which would still knacker the seal on these bits here, but by polishing it with wire wool, it rounds these bits off, so they're not quite so vicious. Now, I mean, we're not talking even like millimetre here, we're talking microns, so very, very small, and no issue at all. It's not going to affect the seals. And when the bike gets put back together, it's going to have the gaiters on anyway. Now, if I was doing it to be 100% like a brand new bike, there'd be no hesitation, they'd be re-chromed. But because I'm doing it on a budget, I'm going to try and get away with doing it this way. Now, when I put the new seals in, if that does, I'll feel it straight away. If that does cause any issue, then we'll have to get them chromed. But if I can save £400, that's £400 that I can put into buying something else for the bike. Because every time I look at stuff, I think, oh, I'll have one of them, and the bill is going up and up and up. So hopefully my crappy drawing made sense to you. So I kind of hope that makes sense, the way that I've thought about it. So what I did was I got a file out and very, very carefully just took the top off of the slag, should we call it, that's come out from the fork where the stones hit. What have I got I can use? So let's just imagine that this surface here is the surface of the fork leg, and when a stone hits it, you'll get a dip like that, where the stone's dented, but it's not like a car dent where the bodywork's just popped in that can pop back out. What it does is it actually scrapes that material and puts it up over this side, so you end up with a dip there and then a bit of a lump there, which would come up this side then. So you've got your dip this side, and then you've got a little lump there, and my idea was to file the lump off, so you're still going to end up with a little bit of a dimple, but the lump will have gone. So that's the bit that's going to act like a cheese grater on the fork seal. Then the edges of this could still be technically sharp when you're running across the top of it, so by polishing with wire wool, it will just take the edges off as well. Now we're only talking microns, nothing substantial. Christ, I don't know about I can do it, I can't even talk it. So that's the plan. As I said, the boots should be here, what are we on now, Sunday today, Tuesday stroke Wednesday, so whichever day they come, I can fire the bike up. Now I want to fire it up for two reasons. One, I just want to make sure it does run, obviously, which I was unable to do, and I still can't do because just didn't think about not having any of the correct shoes that I can use. But the second reason for wanting to start and listen to it is I also want to run down the fuel that's in the pipe between the petcock and the carb, so that that's clear of fuel. And then when I take the carb apart, I'm not going to make a mess on the bench with the fuel, and I'm not going to drop any fuel all over the floor. Fingers crossed the petcock works properly. It does appear to, because the fuel line was empty. So apologies for this not being a proper episode 2, and just a real quick one. Call this part 1A for now. Part 2 will follow in a few days. I'm doing silly shift at work this week, so I don't have to start working till midday. So the day the boots come will be the day I start the bike, let it run for a couple of minutes, make sure everything's okay, make sure the gears work, make sure there's no nasty clunks, bangs, then I can start stripping it down. So within the next few days there'll be part 2 going up. Part 2 will be along soon. Take care, ride safe, catch you soon.